Chances are, if you're watching this, you're probably debating on seeing Fall. And as someone who just watched it yesterday, I want to go ahead and review it for you so you can make the sound decision to spend your hard-earned time and money on a worthy cause, which is darn good entertainment. So I'm going to tell you right away, Fall, I think it's absolutely worth seeing in theaters. Now, if that's all you needed, I bid you adieu. Go have a great time at the movies. Come back, let me know how it goes. But before you go, if this is helpful, valuable, I'd be honored if you consider clicking the like button so people just like you are able to find this. So Fall, it's a story of this girl named Becky. Her husband, and her best friend Hunter are all adrenaline junkies. Well, one time when they're climbing up this ginormous mountain, her husband actually dies in an accident. He falls to his death, and she goes on a year-long depressive state because she can't get over his death. So her friend Hunter comes up to her with this idea one day and says, hey, why don't we climb this 2,000-foot tall radio tower in the middle of absolute nowhere? Becky agrees. They decide to make the climb. However, they get stuck and they can't get down. And we have our movie. So what did I really enjoy about Fall? Fall executes its very simple idea quite well. You basically, for the entirety of the movie, have these two girls who are stuck 2,000 feet in the air with no way down. How did they find themselves out of that situation? And the movie does a really fascinating and great job of exploring that conundrum. It's really enjoyable to see the girls get crafty. It's really enjoyable to see them pull out all the stops, try different things. And when it sticks to that central idea, I think that's where this movie excels the most. Because then you start to think as you're watching this movie, what would you do if you're in that situation? For me personally, I'm afraid of heights, so I don't think I'd climb up that high, but maybe you feel differently. Just when you think the girls run out of options, they come up with another idea. Just when you think that they've got a chance, things start looking up or down again. This movie is a wild roller coaster, a bona fide thriller. There's no doubt about it. And it does a great job of really playing into those thrills, especially when the girls are in the tightest of spots that you can imagine. The peril that this executes, the way that this movie gets you to believe that you are truly 2,000 feet up in the air with these two stranded people, it's amazing and it's incredible. You'll find yourself saying that is a long way down quite a few times in this movie, and I wouldn't blame you. Every time the camera made a panning shot facing downward all the way to the ground and a girl hanging from either ledge, I felt myself gripping my chair pretty hard. And the movie really keeps that same mentality throughout most of the runtime, albeit it has its pacing issues. So the movie overall, when it sticks to its fundamental idea and its thrilling aspects, that's where it shines brightest and makes for the best parts of the film. Now, what did I not like so much about Fall? I think where Fall falls short, no pun intended, is in the little things. Some of the acting is not that great in spots. Some of the dialogue is pretty poor in others. And when it gets out of its central themes and ideas of these girls just being stuck at the top of this tower and providing a thrill experience, I think that's where it starts to slip and fall. It tries to introduce these plot points to get you to care a little bit more, but it really doesn't just stick very well. Sometimes is it a hit and does it contribute to the thrilling elements of the movie? Absolutely. But most of the time it doesn't quite land, or it doesn't quite feel well placed within the movie. Some of it will just feel a little random, a little jarring, and you'll wonder why it's there. And along those lines, this is very much an independent sort of film, and you can really feel it, not only because of some of the acting choppiness and some of the dialogue choppiness, but also even in some of the editing choices. As Becky and Hunter are starting to climb this tower, you'll see random things like the rope that's holding them together disappear at odd points, and just other small quirks that get a little bit distracting if you're paying attention. Does it ruin the movie for you? Absolutely not. Is it a distraction? Sure. In fact, saying that this feels like an independent film, although that is true, I think it's more apropos to say it just feels a little sloppy. Yeah, that's a much better way to describe what I've said. Also, I thought this movie's pacing was pretty off. I did appreciate this movie for getting going quickly, but the rest of the runtime feels like it drags. This movie's only an hour and 40 minutes. It starts to feel like closer to 2 hours 15 by the time the movie ends. As things start to escalate, things start to change. I actually found myself checking the time a couple of moments because I'm like, this movie, I swear, was only an hour and 40 minutes. We got to be at least 2 hours in. But no, sure enough, we were only an hour and 40 minutes in by the time it ended. And I think that some of those pacing issues stem from the fact that once this movie stops playing into its most thrilling aspects, it starts to branch out to these ambitious ideas, but those that don't land very well in the movie. And that's where this experience starts to get dragged down for me. I applaud the film for being ambitious in that way, but just because it's ambitious doesn't mean it always lands well or works within the context of the movie. And it's sometimes it can feel like the movie's trying to relay these messages about life and you just don't really buy into it, or you just don't care quite as much as they want you to, I think. Ideas around living life to the fullest, the impacts of social media on our lives, those are all conversations we've had before, and the movie takes steps into those. However, I think the movie would have been better served by just not doing so. But I get it. Artists, directors, cast members, they have a message to tell. This is the way they tell their story, and they gotta do what they gotta do. However, it just doesn't always make for the best movie experience. So if I had to give this movie an overall score, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. I think it's absolutely worth seeing, and I think you should go see it in theaters, especially if you're looking for a thriller that's something different. Friends, if you're still here, thank you so much. I appreciate you watching. If you like videos just like these, click these end cards up above, or the links down in the description below for more. And if this was helpful, I'd be honored if you consider clicking the like button so people just like you're able to find this. I've been Bryce, and until next time, have a great day.